Good morning. Another day out here in Glory's garden. What I'm doing today is making up my fertilizer, and I decided to just bring you guys on so y'all can see the different ways that I do fertilizing over here. And these are ideas and bits and pieces that I have seen other gardeners do, and some of it I just kind of added my own twist to it. For because I need to make it work for me and my garden and what I have going over here in this small space growing outside on my patio. So I twisted a little bit, tweaked it a little bit, as you can say, to make it kind of work for me. And I just wanted to bring you guys in and show you all what I do. Here I have some grass clippings from my husband. When he cuts the lawn, he saves this for me sometimes, and I use that. I have an empty bucket because I'm going to put some mixture stuff in it with some soil. I have some food scraps here in the chair that I pulled out. I'm going to throw that in it as well. And then I have another method that I use here where I just use dirt. And so I'm going to show y'all quickly the two methods that I use. Right here, I have my empty barrel. I do have holes to the bottom. So I like to put, when I'm doing it with just clippings and stuff, I like to put some dirt to the bottom. I have some soil that I don't care about as much. This was some Pro Mix. It says premium organic. What I don't like about it is it's too dusty. I found that I couldn't really use it. I could use it by itself, but it makes such a mess. And when it rained, to me, it was just too dusty. So I think if I wanted to use it in my pots, which I use it over there with my tomatoes, but I ended up going back over, putting some different soil on top, because when it rained, it just was dusty. It just was everywhere. I've grown in grow bags before, but I never had grow bags that look the way those look with using just this stuff right here. So I like to put soil to the bottom of my bucket, and I do have holes in it because when it rains, I don't want it just filled with water. And I'm adding some grass in it. Adding my grass clippings, this pot with the grass clippings, some weed eat thread. This pot with the grass clippings does have holes in it as well. And this right here is not a fertilizer that I'm going to use right away. It's going to have to break down a little bit more. And I'm adding dirt in it to kind of help it. And I put dirt to the bottom because if it gets any juices or anything like that, I want something to be there to kind of soak it up. So I'm going to put a good little bit of this grass in here. And you can just layer it, because I'll come back out here and I'll add stuff to it and add more soil to it. You may hear the irrigation system in the back because I do have the irrigation system running. And then when I get enough of the grass, I'm just eyeballing it. I don't have anything to measure anything by because I don't really measure stuff. Not when I'm doing it from scratch, my own stuff. Here I have a corn on the cob that I'm adding in. Have some other stuff, some tops from strawberries. I have some muscadine, scuffenine grapes, depending on what area you're from. I have that, some orange peel. Look like some little pieces of onion skin. This is just little food I had left that I didn't put in my Vego garden counter composter. So I saved some scraps for out here. And I'm also just going to throw the paper towel in the bucket as well. And over time that will break down. And since I'm putting food scraps in it, I do like to cover it up with dirt or some more grass, because I don't want a bunch of flies when I come out here. I don't want a bunch of bugs. If they down in here, they just down in here. But I don't want a bunch of stuff flying around out here in the yard or around me while I'm out here trying to work in the garden. So I throw more grass clippings on it and some soil over it as well. And for one, that helps keeps it hot and helps it to break down more. I have some pieces of some cantaloupe. Well, the rind, not the actual cantaloupe, honey, because we ate that. Just put all these little scraps down in here. And I just break this up. I had this in the freezer, so it's easy to break. And I like to break it instead of just putting big whole pieces, because it'll help it start breaking down faster. It's hot here still, but the weather is changing. So I have all my little food scraps that I had lying around that I was saving in here. And I'm going to throw some more grass in here on top of it. We do have little critters that will come out here during the night. As y'all know, if y'all been following the channel, something came and ate up my marigold flowers. Something took 5 of the peaches off the tree, and that poor tree only had those 5 peaches. So I try to cover this because I figured if they could smell something, especially when it starts breaking down, they'll probably start coming digging. I want them to have a long way to dig, to the point where they give up. But I don't want the scent to draw anything out here. And then I'm going to add some more soil on top. It's kind of just like layering something, but after a while, when I come out to the garden, if I see something, leaves kind of just turning yellow or falling off or whatever, I'll add that down in here too as well. Like I have some papaya leaves right now that need to come off the tree. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Those yellow leaves on that papaya, I'm going to take those off, break them up, and I'm going to add them to this soil. So we have the papaya leaves in the mixture. And I'm going to let you all see what that looks like. And that's going to be that on that one. And that's what that looks like. So it's just kind of layered up in here with the food scrap, the dirt, grass clippings, food scraps, more grass clippings, dirt, and then these leaves. And then as time go on, anything else I get, more food scraps, leaves from the garden. When I'm walking around clipping off leaves that don't look as healthy as I want them to, but they're not actually, rotten, or even if they dried out, leaves out of the yard, because we have 3 massive Japanese plums. I think some people call them plumquats. I have 3 of those trees in the yard, and they're forever dropping those big leaves when they turn it and they turn brown. I could add that here too as well. May add some paper towel rolls and stuff like that we get out of the house. But this is basically what this fertilizer is looking like. This is not a fertilizer I can start using today. I can, but I just wanted to break down some more and concentrate and help turn this soil, make it more rich than what it is. So that's the idea that I have in my mind when I do this. I've done this before. Like I said, I got bits and pieces from other gardeners that does something similar. I'm pretty sure mine is different. I'm sorry, I'm just right in front of you with the camera, trying to raise it up some so I don't have to bend over and talk. But I'm pretty sure, mine is a little different because, like I said, I have to make things unique and organic for my garden over here in Glory's garden. So that is what works for me. When I first started gardening last year, March in 2024, I had little buckets like this just sitting around with dirt, throwing food scraps in it, different little things like that. I eventually got rid of it because it was in such a nice big pot. I needed that pot for my aloe. So that's where that pot is. So I'm just getting back to the basics of how I started my garden and the different things that I did in my garden. Okay, so that's one way that I use to fertilize. Hold on. And fish emulsion, this is another way that I use to fertilize. This is something I could do right now, this minute. Measure, add your water, put it out in your garden. This is another way that I fertilize over here in Glory's garden. And I have a third way of what I do over here to help my soil and to fertilize as well. And that's with the black cow. Let me move y'all back some. If y'all can see this. But that's with this black cow. I add black cow to this bucket. And then I add in my plant tone. I add a little bit of plant tone. I add in my worm castings. And I add in some bone meal. That is what I do. I put all of that in this bucket. And usually I make quite a good little size of it. And I go around in the garden to places like my corn. That's a heavy feeder. And what I do is I move the soil back from it around the root. I don't put it directly on the plant. I put it around the plant in the soil. I move my wood chips or whatever I have back, and I just spread this stuff around that, and then I water it in. That's another way I use to make soil. This is the plant tone. So over time, this releases out into the soil. This is just some ideas that I do for people who ask me. Somebody had asked me about how often do I fertilize. So I'm about every 2 to 3 weeks. I try my best to. Am I always successful with that? No. I know I'm not always successful with that. But do I try? Yeah. I'm not always successful with that because I work. I work 12 hours. I'm on day shift. Right now I'm on night shift. So night shift for me, my 12 hours started at 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And I try my best not to miss any days from my job. I try my best. I did miss one the other day because I was having such a foot problem. When I woke up, I could not stand and put pressure on my foot. And it was just inflammation from what? I don't know. I don't know. I'll tell that story another day about my health journey and the different things that I've been going through with my health over here in Glory's garden. But so I missed a day, but I'm a supervisor. And as always, I don't really want nobody else supervising my shift. I don't really want nobody else telling my people what to do but me, because I like for us to stay on one accord. Other people have other ideas of what policy and procedure means. I don't try to interpret it nothing because it's there in black and white for you. So, and I'm one of those people, if you follow the policy and procedure, you won't really never have to get called into the office. And that's me. I like to be at my desk. I don't like to be in there sitting in front of the boss's desk. And I'm sure she'll appreciate that too. Well, okay, let's get back to what we're supposed to be talking about, child, which is this fertilizing regimen that I have going over here. And so I am going to put some black cow in here. I don't want this video to be super long, y'all. And like I said, I'm not measuring anything because I don't have nothing to measure by. This is just something that I made up from watching different people add my own twist to it. Something that I think will work over here in my garden. And what I did during the spring, when I found out that, when I saw that some of my plants just wasn't taking off as well as others, this is what I did. I added some black cow in the bucket. I added some bone meal to the bucket. This bone meal about done had its last little word. They done been sitting over here so long. Break it up some. I think it might have got a little damp over there. But that area rarely gets wet. It sits against my house and it rarely gets wet over there. I'm sorry, y'all, the AC is on and you may still hear it because like I told you all in another video, I had to change devices. I had to get a new device, which I do love. And that's what I'm recording on, but the mic doesn't compare with it as well as it did my other device. And I put some plant tone in here. Add that to the bucket. Then I add my worm casting. And if anybody have any thoughts, ideas, recommendations, suggestions, and then I just add a little more black cow. Black cow itself is considered a fertilizer too as well. But this is just what I do. And like I was saying before, when I saw that things in my garden didn't give off the way I want, wasn't growing the way I want, this is what I did. And I just take it and I mix this up together. That's all I do. Just mix it up in this bucket together. Because we want our plants to produce. Sometimes we spend our money on these seedlings and sometimes we grow stuff from seed. Either way, we put our time and effort in. So I want my stuff to be producing over here. And it's using all our water when you don't get no rain. So I just try to mix this up as best I can. And then I take it and I go and add it around the root of the plant, not directly on the plant. Y'all, I'm gonna grab y'all and we're gonna walk on over here and we're gonna use it on the corn so I can show you what I'm talking about. Hopefully this video is not gonna be super long. Y'all, I don't know if y'all noticed, your girl doing pretty good over here with her editing. I'm trying. I have people showing me stuff and telling me different little things to do. And then, of course, you know, I have my own ideas of how I want stuff to look. Okay, so I have this mixed up pretty good. I'm still kind of just stirring it, as you can see. And so, let me see, make sure y'all can see exactly what it is that I'm doing. So I'll come to the corn plant. I'll move everything from around it. I just move everything from around it. And then I just put this, I just grab something in my hand and I put it around. It's not touching the plant, but it's going around. And once you wet it in, it's gonna go into the soil. You don't have to lay it on the plant. And like for times that you don't have to fertilize, we have that plant tone in there, which releases over time. So every time you come over here and water it, it breaks that down just a little bit more. So your plant is getting some fertilizer each time. And so I put it around the plant. And you can throw the little, whatever you have back over it. So and even if you don't come out, if it rains a lot, like it rained here the day before yesterday, if I had this out, good Lord, I got some red spiders over here. Y'all gotta go. I cannot do spiders. Oh, those are ants. Oh, okay, because I was going to say, whew, yeah, the ants have been over here on the corn. They've been living their best life over here on my corn. But, you know, even when it rains, if you don't have time to come out here, but you got your little slow release fertilizer down and you got your black cow down and it rains, that's helping water the plant. The root is sucking it up and it's helping fertilize the plant. I'm sorry, I was saying helping water the plant. Well, the rain is helping water, but I meant to say that's helping fertilize your plant. So that's some stuff that I was using on my corn. But guys, I just had to come back and tell you another way that I fertilize as well. I do have my 3 buckets of my homemade fertilizer here. That's another way that I fertilize. I forgot all about that. They're sitting over here. And in that I have different things, plant leaves from plants, food scraps as well, just sitting around in these buckets. And I'm going to go in this bucket. I'm going to start pulling out some of the stuff that's in here. I do have holes in my top. And I have a netting on top of it. Because I found when I didn't put a netting on top, mosquitoes and all of that, this was so full of mosquito larvae, I had to start all my fertilizer back over because it was just making a mosquito haven in my backyard. And as y'all know, mosquitoes love me and I hate them, but they was tearing me up. In this particular bucket here, I'm going to pull you in closer so you can see. I don't know if y'all can see in here. In this particular bucket, I just have plant roots from where I had some flowers and stuff like that, and it's just been sitting. It's almost like a little tea. But I'm ready to take that out now and just have nothing but the liquid in there. I used to just let it sit and sit and sit, but I don't really do that anymore. And as I pull it, you can see the water changes colors. And that's this little liquid stuff right here. And I'm not going to throw it away. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take it and I'm going to add it to that barrel where I was doing layers of different stuff for fertilizing. That's what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to take this, I'm going to let it drip a little bit, and then I'm going to take the remainder what's in the netting and add it to the barrel over there where I was doing the layering. That's what I'm going to do with this. This is not going to go to waste. It has broken way down. It looked like it was this big root until you pull it out. But that's some rich gold, liquid gold right there. And when I get that to add to my plants, I do mix it with water. One time I added, oh, you know what I forgot to add to the thing that I have inside? I have 2 big packs of coffee grinds that I can add to that as well. I got that from my job. And so I was finna say that I added a fish head to this one time. And everybody was telling me, oh, that's going to stink up your backyard. But I also added coffee grounds in here. Didn't have not one smell. Not one smell. And that's also something else I could add to the mix is a fish head and coffee grinds to keep the smell down. Because I have a couple of fish heads. My son, he loves going to the fish market. I told him, well, bring me your fish head. I could use it in the garden. And that's exactly what I do. And if y'all could look in here, let me take this glove off now. If you could look in here, putting that netting, it's just this little thin netting that I put over top of it. It's just a piece of big netting that I use to cover my raised beds, cover my brassica with. I bought like 100 feet of this stuff so I could cut it and use it how I want to. And which is what I do. So I cut a piece of that to put over this. And that kept the mosquitoes from being able to get in here, lay their little larvae, eggs, or whatever. Because as you can see, You don't see anything swimming around in here. This is one little mosquito right here, but he looked like he just got in here. But that, putting this netting over it, that really, really helped. Because I'm telling you, those mosquitoes, they found their way in here. And it was just too much. Every time I opened it up, I had to fight. So I am going to put the netting back in here, but I'm going to go dump it. I just wanted to come back and show you guys this way. This right here, doing this right here, that was free. Of course, I bought the buckets, but the stuff in it is free, and it'll last a while. Well, in my garden it does, but I also have 3 buckets made up. But it'll last me a while because I have a small garden out here on my patio. So for some people, they may need 4 or 5 buckets if they tried to do this. But you also add water to the mixture. You don't just scoop it up and throw it in there. You know, you might can with your corn. I'm not telling nobody to do that. I'm just saying how I do it over here, because I don't want to burn out my plants. But yeah, guys, that's it. That's what we're doing in Glory's garden, making up fertilizer and stuff. And I got these nettings. I got these from the Dollar Tree. They was $1.25 at the Dollar Tree, and they are really just laundry bags. But I take it and put it down in here, so when I get ready to pull that stuff up, I can pull it up. And I could push this to the side and just scoop out nothing but liquid. I don't have to have pieces of the leaves and all that going into my plants, especially when I'm doing my green stalk towers, because that water and that needs to flow and drip. If you're familiar with green stalk towers, then you understand what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's it, guys. I'm going to go ahead on and end this video for good now. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you all on the next one.